comienzo el podcast más real de todas las plataformas. Lessing the Podcast. La verdad os hará libre. Política, cultura y noticias puertorriqueñas, internacionales y algo más. Lessing the Podcast. Óyeme, estamos aquí en Lessing the Podcast. Y estamos transmitiendo a la misma vez en Facebook y en YouTube como al principio. Y queremos transmitir en Instagram, en Twitch, en Kick, en todos los lugares. Pero usando OBS. Hay unas plataformas que se pueden usar para transmitir, pero la calidad no es la misma. Cuando uno transmite desde OBS, queda todo mucho mejor. Mira, dímelo, Jay Reyes, está pasando. Paz para Israel, papá. Ok. Estaba aburrido en internet el día de hoy y encontré que Donald Trump y Milei están hablando en el CPAC. No lo encontré en español, está en inglés, pero muchos entendemos. No lo encontré con subtítulos y esto se lo vamos a ir analizando y explicando poco a poco. Déjame saludar al chat. Hey, saludito doctora Raquel. Sabiendo el más que sabe. Mira, dímelo Ruth, saludito, muy buenas tardes. Hey, Meili, está pasando, está pasando. Ok, antes de seguir, vamos a poner un poquito de tensión. Tensión no, vamos a poner... Déjame chequear que estamos transmitiendo en todos lados. Porque como les dije, hoy estamos en Facebook. Sí, está en Facebook. Lo veo en Facebook también. Déjame mirarlo acá. Ok, estamos gozando. Entonces los que comenten en Facebook también van a salir los comentarios y los van a ver en la pantalla, que logré unir los chats. So, mi gente, rápidamente vamos allá, que esto es Donald Trump hablándole al mundo.
2024, the worst is yet to come. Our country will go and sink to levels that were unimaginable. And just think about it. With 4 more years of Biden, the hordes of illegal aliens stampeding across our borders will exceed 40 to 50 million people. Medicare, Social Security, health care, and public education will buckle and collapse. It will collapse. As
es muy cierto, mi gente.
Sitting or standing there, it will collapse. Our economy will be starved of energy by Crooked Joe's vindictive Green New Scam. It's a Green New Scam. It'll be the destruction.
Hey, saluditos, Neva.
It is indeed a scam, and most of them know it. Some of them, the fools, believe it, but most of them know it. Millions of manufacturing jobs will be choked off into extinction, and you'll have constant lockouts and blackouts and rampant inflation. Ruthless gangs will explode even more into the suburbs, and when they talk about suburban women, they're going to love me so much. They're going to say, oh, I wish we had that guy back. The gangs will be invading your territory, I can tell you that. While weaponized law enforcement hunts for conservatives and people of faith, religious, Hamas and Antifa will terrorize our streets while their brutal ideology, and it is brutal indeed, it is brutal and horrible like nobody's ever seen before, takes over our schools. China will dominate us, not just economically, but militarily, and that's what they want, and that's where they're heading, but they weren't heading there with me. I took over $400 billion out of China, and they weren't too happy about it, and then all of a sudden, we had the China virus. Now, I happen to think it was incompetence, but a lot of people disagree with that. And a declining crooked Joe Biden. He's the crookedest, most incompetent president in the history of our country. Will soon have us losing World War III. We won't even be in World War III. We'll be losing World War III with weapons the likes of which nobody has ever seen before. These are the stakes of this election. Our country is being destroyed, and the only thing standing between you and its obliteration is me. It's true. It's true. Viktor Orban, somebody I respect greatly. A lot of people respect him. Tough guy, smart guy. He made the statement recently. He said, if you bring back Trump, it'll all stop. They all listened to Trump. They respected Trump. He actually said it stronger than he said they were afraid of Trump. I don't want people to be afraid of me. But he said China was afraid, Russia was afraid. They were all afraid of Trump. Bring him back, and it'll all go back. And I will tell you, we had things at a level that nobody's ever seen before. We had no wars. We had defeated ISIS. We got rid of the worst terrorists in the world. You know that. And solely defeated. We took 100% of ISIS gone. And then we had no wars for 4 years. We had no wars. First time in 72 years that happened.
¡Woo! Ok, déjame ir contestándole algo rapidito. Primero, a Sabiondo. Óyeme, cuando el dientú diga algo relevante, porque mientras lo que está hablando tonterías de deporte y de gorditas, cuando diga un disparate que el seguro social es socialista, pues le caemos encima. Mientras tanto, papi, ya es irrelevante. Ya no está en la radio, ya no le importa, ni a los cantantes le importa Molusco, menos nos va a importar a nosotros. Entonces, Neva, Eliezer, creo, no sé cuándo es la vista, pero la vamos a cubrir porque aquella fue la primera parte. Pero tienen que ir, el juez tiene que decidir y eso tiene un proceso, eso va a seguir. Pero vamos a seguir entonces viendo acá.
Hillary Clinton, during one of our debates, if you remember that, she said, look at him, listen to him, he's going to cause wars, we'll be in wars. No. It turned out that I was able to stop wars from happening and brought our troops back home. We got out of these ridiculous, endless wars, killing people on both sides, costing trillions of dollars. Crooked Joe and his henchmen have you trapped, and it's an express train barreling toward servitude and to ruin. It's moving at a speed that Joe doesn't understand, because Joe actually, I don't think he knows what the hell's going on, to be honest with you, but he's surrounded by some very bad fascists. A vote for Trump is your ticket back to freedom. It's your passport out of tyranny, and it's your only escape from Joe Biden and his gang's fast track to hell. And in many ways, we're living in hell right now. Because the fact is, Joe Biden is a threat to democracy.
Eso es cierto. John Biden es una amenaza para la democracia. Saluditos, Amelia.
I stand before you today not only as your past and hopefully future president, but as a proud political dissident. I am a dissident.
Hey, saluditos, Javier.
Remember this, I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, Mr. President. You know who that is? Even the president just said, I do. Scarface.
¡Qué duro! Este es Trump.
If he had dinner with you and he didn't like the smile in your face, he thought you were mocking him by smiling, you would be dead before you got home and said hello to your wife. And Alphonse Capone, I got indicted 4 times by this gang of thugs for nothing. Or, as I say respectfully to the people from foreign countries, for bullshit.
We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump. We want Trump.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Now, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous what's going
like
on.
dangers.
They've weaponized government. They've weaponized the DOJ, the FBI. We've never had anything like this in this country, and it's a phenomenon that's taken place many times, but in third world countries and in banana republics, not in the United States of America.
Está empezando Mark Lewis. Ya mismo tira fuerte.
To democracy, and I'm here to unleash this captive nation from Joe Biden and his gang of very bad people, very sick people, smart people, intelligent people, but they're hell-bent on the destruction of American freedom. It's happening in our country, and it's so obvious. I have people come to see me from other lands where this has gone on, especially in South America, Latin America, and they'll say, the same thing happened to my country 20 years ago. It was the same thing. It's all happening. And if we don't stop it, this is it. 2024. If we don't stop it, this is our last train. If we don't stop it, we're going to have a country. It won't even be a country. You want to know the truth? It won't even be a country. It's breaking up. If we can break out of the Biden nightmare.
Saluditos, Miguel, de New Jersey. Duro.
Person. Can you imagine this man who can't walk off a stage? He can't find the stairs. Where are they, he asks. Where? He makes a 2-minute speech because that's about the only, they couldn't get any more fuel than that.
Es verdad, Biden.
Whatever happened to the cocaine they found in the White House?
Oh!
Where is it? And by the way, I have to say, because I have such respect for this audience and CPAC, I would have never spoken, and I never did, about him because of my respect for the office of the president. I have great respect for that office. But once I got indicted the first time, remember that? I got indicted, and I got impeached twice. We won that, and we'll win all of this stuff. But once I got indicted, I said, well, now the gloves have to come off because they did something. Those, you know, the fake news, before these indictments came, the fake news, almost every one of, well, he'll never be indicted. You don't do that. He was a very popular president. You know, I got more votes than any sitting president in history. Got almost 75 million votes. Substantially more than any other president, sitting president has gotten. And they would say, oh, no, he'll never be indicted. These are people that, some of them truly have Trump derangement syndrome. And they were saying, he'll never be indicted. They won't do that. They'll never. He did it. They did it. They actually, and it was all done by him in order to go after your political opponent so that you can damage him enough that you can maybe win. But it's had the reverse effect because our poll numbers have gone through the roof. Can you believe this? They've gone through the roof. That wasn't supposed to happen. And it's probably never happened before. I've watched over the years as politicians get indicted, and they start by going to a microphone about 2 minutes after it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, I would be resigning from office today, and I will go home with my family and my friends, and I will fight for my name. Well, that's the last you ever hear from that poor guy. And with me, we have a big voice. You can see by this crowd today. Look at that. Standing room only. They're all over the place. They have 3 rooms like this. And I have a voice that I can explain it all, like the laptop from hell when they impeached me. And it turned out I was right after going through all that. And now they say, you know, we shouldn't have impeached him. He was right because the laptop from hell showed that I was 100% right.
Mi gente.
All of these things, we were right on all of it, but we're...
Espérate. Este caballero tiene 77 años. ¿Por qué no quiere pasar esto para acá? Anyway, 77 años tiene Donald Trump. Mira lo clarito y despierto que está.
In a very bad path. It's a very, very dangerous path that we are on as a country because the other side, which I find tends to be a much nicer group of people, and maybe foolishly so, but the other side can also get nasty, and at some point they probably will have to do that because we cannot let this weaponization go on against the Republican Party, against religion, against conservatives. We cannot let this continue to happen. So if we can break out of this Biden nightmare, it's a nightmare. Our country is no longer respected. We're laughed at all over the world. We have to break out of the nightmare that we're in. And we have it in the grasp to make America richer and safer and stronger and prouder and more beautiful than ever before. I think we have a final shot at it, but if we don't do well in this next election, or if they cheat enough that they can steal it, which is, I think, the only way they can win, who the hell can win when you have 16 million people pouring into our country from places unknown? We have countries that nobody ever even heard of from all over the world. Yesterday they had many people caught from prisons in, you remember this, right? Prisons in the Congo. Let me tell you, the only good thing is they make our prisoners and our bad gang members look like very nice people by comparison. That's the one good thing. All of a sudden, we're starting to like our prisoners and our horrible, violent criminals because they're nicer than the people that are flowing in. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from all over the world. coming from Africa, and we're not going to stand for it anymore. As a country, we're not going to stand for it anymore. They're destroying our country.
Yo creo que Milei todavía no ha hablado. Va después de él. O fue antes. No sé, porque cuando yo lo vi, estaba Trump en vivo. Ahí estuvo Bukele. Creo que está Milei hoy. No sé si está después de Trump o antes. Pero lo que está diciendo Trump es bien importante y tiene toda la razón, mi gente. Trump está diciendo que los que están entrando por la frontera, ¿saben? No solamente son latinos, no solamente son venezolanos. Estoy al garete. No solamente son latinos ni venezolanos, son africanos, afganistíes, la gente bandida, ¿tú me entiendes? Cuba envió a todos los maleantes para Miami en los 80. Pues así están haciendo todos los demás países. ¿Usted se quiere ir? Vente, lo sacan de la prisión y lo mandan por México para que entre en Estados Unidos como parte para seguir derrotando a la nación americana.
And we built think of it, we had the safest border 3 years ago. We had the safest border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the...
Mi gente, ve en el público, USA, USA. Hacen años que yo no escucho a la gente decir USA. A la gente le da vergüenza decir que es americano hoy en día, de tan patéticos que somos. USA grande otra vez, vamos a seguir perdiendo hasta el punto que parezcamos Roma y que nos saquen del mapa. No, está bueno la changuería. USA, USA. Make America great again.
History of the world. There's never been a country ever, third world country.
Hey, saludito, Yaranese.
They would have fought with sticks and stones. They didn't need rifles. We have the best in the world, but we let everyone, because we're fools. Either they want to destroy our country or they're stupid. And I don't think they're stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections like they do is not stupid. That means they want to destroy our country.
Muy cierto.
But who can win an election when you have that? Who can win an election when you have high interest rates, you can't buy a home, where you have bad education, where everything's woke?
Ah, pues perfecto.
We did things that nobody can imagine.
Vemos a Milei luego de Trump.
Things, 1,000 elements we did. We have a book, the 1,000 things.
Saludito, Santa Iris.
Nobody could even imagine. And then all of a sudden, something very bad happened. Israel would have never happened. The attack on Israel would have never happened. Remember, Iran was broke. They were broke. Ukraine would have never happened. I talked to Putin a lot. I got along with him well. Although he did announce the other day that he'd much rather see Biden as president.
Este es el peinado de la verdad. Aquí no hay truco. Así es cuando me levanto, cuando me acuesto y cuando hago todo.
That's the biggest pipeline in the world. Going into Germany, what's that all about? We defend Germany and Europe, and then they go and pay billions of dollars to the people that we're defending them against. How do you figure that one, right?
Yeah, Trump, tú eres el
and
duro.
I stopped it was over, and then Biden comes in, and within 3 days he approves Nord Stream.
Ustedes saben que ahora mismo la OTAN aprobó que Ucrania atacara a Rusia dentro de Rusia. Significa que Rusia puede atacar a los países de la OTAN. ¿Y saben quiénes son los que aprueban eso? Biden. Y Biden no puede decirle su nombre. ¿Quién está a cargo de Estados Unidos? Kamala. Kamala la que está mandando a los ucranianos a atacar a los rusos. No, muere, ya se acabó. Que vengan las elecciones para sacar a Biden y a todas las porquerías de la izquierda.
But he kills Keystone Pipeline, right? He kills Keystone. He approves the Russian pipeline. The biggest in the world. Billions and billions of dollars a month come flowing in.
Yaranesi, tienes toda la razón.
XL pipeline. And then they say, Trump is too nice to Russia. I'm nice. I'm the one that gave him the 100 javelins, the thousands of javelins that knocked out the tanks, but they knocked out 100 tanks in the first 2 days with javelins that I gave. Remember, they said Obama gave pillows and Trump gave javelins. And then they say, oh, Trump was so nice to Russia. No. Putin would say, if you're being nice, I hate like hell to think of what you'd be if you were not nice. But we were tough and we were smart and we were right. We were right just on everything. We were right. And what they've done is unthinkable. What they did with the border allowing...
Mi gente, les voy a decir algo. No existe una forma de usted negociar, tratar, hacer negocios con países si no es los dos países apuntándose con los cañones. Ok, mira, vende, te voy a comprar arroz. Pues dale. Y con él lo apuntas, coges el paquete de arroz y te vas y le das los chavos. Esa falacia de que hay todos unidos en paz. No, los países son como los gángsters. Cuando hacen reuniones, tienen que tener el poder, porque si no, uno se va a creer más listo que el otro. Con Trump, por lo menos sabemos que tenemos un gángster de nuestra parte que va a tratar de que los americanos salgan bien. Con Biden, yo no sé ni lo que estaba haciendo ya, la realidad. Hey, saludito, Rosa Padilla. Trump, así mismo, él va a ganar. Está tan mal la administración Biden que por lógica va a ganar Trump.
These people to flow in is unbelievable. But to achieve a great future, we first have to throw off the chains of our out-of-control political class, and that begins with telling crooked Joe Biden, you remember The Apprentice? Crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. Get out of here. Get the hell. You're destroying our country. You're fired, Biden. Get the hell out of here. Right?
Mira, dímelo, Joe, está pasando.
Get the hell out of here, this guy. He goes after his political opponents. Let's go after them. See if you can indict him so that maybe we can win. A little bit of a backlash when the numbers go up. But anybody that does that and all these other things they've done, they're destroying our country. We're not respected anywhere anymore. We're laughed at. We've become a joke as a country. For years, you've watched as the entire Washington cesspool has been feeding on the wealth and hopes and dreams of hardworking Americans, really hardworking Americans. They've feasted on the profits of job-killing trade deals. They've gorged themselves on the spoils of endless wars. And now what they crave, they want it so badly, is permanent political power and dominance for whatever reason. They're sickos, that's why. In 2016, we gave these corrupt insiders their chance to change, and with Biden, they answered with hoaxes and witch hunts, censorship, lockdowns, and with total repression. 8 years later, the swamp has rejected your righteous pleas to reform, and we have to do this, and we're going to reform, and we're going to have freedom again. We're going to have freedom again. We do not have freedom, and we have the most corrupt press anywhere. These people are corrupt.
La prensa está corrupta y se los dice en la cara. Eso es lo que me encanta de Trump.
92%. No, you have some wonderful journalists, you really do, but they're just overwhelmed by the people that know they're doing so wrong. I watch ABC,
Era, dímelo, John P.
NBC. I mean, it's so, I don't even talk about CNN because nobody watches them anymore. MSDNC is horrible, horrible. But fortunately, not a lot of people are watching them anymore. They've tuned out. But the press has to straighten itself out. You know, they're all doing badly, and they're doing badly because they're fake news. That was another one we called, right? Fake news. The only problem with that term, it's not strong enough. I wish it was stronger. At the ballot box this November, it's you and the people you have to be, and we'll deliver a reckoning like they haven't even imagined before. We're going to straighten out our country. We're going to bring our country back. For hardworking Americans, November 5th will be our new Liberation Day, but for the liars and cheaters and fraudsters and censors and imposters who have commandeered our government, it will be their Judgment Day. Their Judgment Day.
Pues Yaranesi, así es que uno
When we
tiene que
win, the
ser.
curtain closes on their corrupt reign.
Honestos, hay que ser honesto y decir la verdad.
Future for America. That's what we have to have. I believe it's our last chance. You know, I used to say how important in 2016 that you got to do it. It's the most important election. I meant it, but that was nothing compared to where we are now. We had a big border problem, and I solved it. So much so that in 2020, I couldn't even mention it. I'd say, let's talk about the border. Sir, you've solved that problem.
Para eso hay. Mi gente, ¿se acuerdan cuando Trump quería hacer la verja y que México la pagara? ¿Se acuerdan de eso? Que no hacía falta así. Hacía falta así. Para que ustedes vean, mira lo que está haciendo Biden. hacía falta la pared que Trump quería construir. Pero ahora, mira, ahora todos los problemas que tienen en Nueva York, California, todos los lugares que son santuarios de inmigrantes, las están pasando mal. Hubieran hecho caso a Trump y no hubiera problema ahora con toda la inmigración que hay.
You don't have a border. I don't care. I want to talk about the border. I talk about the border. Everybody would sit there. They wouldn't even say anything because we had no problem. I solved it. But who would have thought that now we have a border problem that's 20 times worse than what we had in 2016?
Exactamente.
20 times. And we'll solve that one too. But it's going to have to be very strong action, and it's going to have to happen fast before our country is just totally overwhelmed. Your victory will be our ultimate vindication. Your liberty will be our ultimate reward, and the unprecedented success of the United States of America will be my ultimate and absolute revenge. That's what I want. Success will be our revenge. I love those young people over there.
USA, USA.
But have you seen, the closer we get to this...
Mi gente, estamos transmitiendo en Facebook y en YouTube. Los que están en Facebook, voy a cortar el live. Todo el mundo váyase para YouTube, que es más estable la señal. So, el que esté en Facebook, si se cae, va a tumbar el live. En la página está el link y nos vemos en YouTube, porque es más estable el live de YouTube. Ok, seguimos acá nosotros.
Magnificent liberation of our country, the more desperate the Biden regime's evil persecution against us has become. They become more and more violent. The Stalinist show trials being carried out at the Joe Biden orders set fire not only to our system of government, but to hundreds of years of Western legal tradition. You see what's happening. They've replaced law, precedent, and due process with a rabid mob of radical left Democrat partisans masquerading as judges and juries and prosecutors and executioners. That's what they are. I've gone through trials. The level of hatred from these judges, there's no way you get fair trials.
Saludito,
the
Helio.
level of hatred from prosecutors, when they know you've done nothing wrong, it's sick. These are sick people. The only crime I've ever committed is defending America and those who want to destroy it. I will fight those who want to destroy it. And they're very angry at me because I won an election that wasn't supposed to happen, and they were caught off guard. And they said, we'll never let that happen again. And in 2020, they cheated like dogs, and we all know it. We all know it. For that and that alone, Biden and his deranged prosecutors, attorney generals, local district attorneys are trying to take away my liberty. They're trying to take it away. They're trying to steal my liberty. If there's any shred of justice left, they will fail and we will win. And so far, we're doing very nicely. Thank you. But I would rather lose my freedom than surrender to
Dímelo, Cristian, está pasando.
And tyrants, fascists, scoundrels, and rogues. The more the corrupt establishment tries to stop us, the more you know the day is near at hand when we will break free from their grip. We're going to break free very soon. We're going to break free from their grip very soon. You heard the J6 hostages, didn't you? You heard that. And I will tell you, there's never been in the history of our country a group of people treated the way they've been treated. There's never been anything like it. Carpenters, mechanics, lawyers, firemen, policemen, military people. They went to protest a rigged election, and they've been sentenced to years in prison. When they burn down Portland and they take over a vast section of Seattle and they burn down Minneapolis, and I had to watch television as a CNN reporter is standing saying, this is a peaceful protest. I'd like to say, this is a peaceful protest. And the whole damn city behind him is burning to the ground. Did you remember that?
¿Se acuerdan de eso, verdad, gente? ¿Se acuerdan cuando estaban las protestas que estaban quemando Oregon, Portland y todos esos lados? Y los de CNN. No, esto es una protesta pacífica y al lado un tipo que manda un negocio, que manda un carro. Que la prensa son bien hipócritas. No son reales. Como Silvia Hernández, hipócrita.
Minneapolis burning to the ground. This is a peaceful protest. And then he got hit on the knee and he went down. No, it's crazy.
Mira, dímelo, Ivonne, saludito.
I tell you what, if I didn't bring in the National Guard, because the governor didn't want to do it, they'd never want to do it. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, I wish I didn't wait 6 days, but if I didn't bring in the National Guard, you wouldn't even have a city there. You wouldn't even have, that city was going down. They'll only motivate us more to make America great again. We have to make America great again. That's our mission. People say, what is your mission, sir? I remember when Ted Kennedy, he was actually a friend of mine, slightly different viewpoint on life, but he was a friend. But they asked him a question, it took him down. What plans do you have for America? Why are you running? And somehow, that's a much harder question than you think, because, you're answering all the little details. Then they ask, what are your plans for America? It took him down, actually took him down. I just say, my plans are very simple. Make America great again. That's all I say. Make America great again. Very simple.
No, vamos a hacer América mal otra vez. Vamos a ser pobres, feos, gordos y débiles. Claro que no. Claro que no. Vamos a ser poderosos con dinero y los jefes.
The first and most urgent action.
Que venga y guerre con nosotros.
Sealing of the border. Stopping the invasion. Drill, baby, drill. Send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home. We'll do all of those things. And
bueno, yo voy para Florida a votar. ¿Tú quieres ver que te enseño cuando le dé el voto? Yo me monto en un avión, yo vivo en Florida, tengo la dirección y tengo todo. Yo sí voy a votar.
They've taken over the streets, Madison Avenue. They've taken over Queens. They've taken over Brooklyn and the Bronx. They've taken over the whole city. The little leaguers can't play anymore because people are there that can't play. But it took longer than I thought, but I predicted this. It's called the migrant crime, and it's far more deadly than anybody thought. They will actually have fistfights with police in the middle of the street. You saw that the other day, where they attacked police. Even our bad criminals, they never had fistfights with a cop. They do things and they talk and they shout. But these guys are actually, and the interesting thing? In their country, if they ever did that, they'd be dead within seconds. They'd be dead. I know where they come from. I know the people that run those countries. I know the presidents and the dictators. I know every one of them. Some are dictators, some are prime ministers. But they're tough guys. They're tough guys. And those thugs that...
Gracias por la promo, Ivonne.
To our police.
Espérate, ya para ese momento. ROF, R-O-F. Mano, yo apostaría, pero si vamos a apostar tiene que ser compleja. ¿Cómo es la apuesta compleja? Bueno, yo pienso que va... Entonces, como esto es como el baloncesto. Se acaba por tanto y con tantos puntos de ventaja. Un ejemplo. Pues yo digo que va Trump a presidencia. Después en Puerto Rico, Javier Jiménez. En San Juan no sé el qué va a hacer. Sí, vamos a apostar por la papeleta, como si fuéramos en el hipódromo. Porque en Estados Unidos va a ganar Trump. No sé cuánto quieres apostar, porque tú quieres apostamos 10,000. Pero yo apuesto a que Trump va a ganar, para que no nos confundamos. Pero real. Papi, Trump va a ganar. La gente está harta de Biden. La gente está harta de los inmigrantes. La gente está harta de todo. So, esta es la única esperanza. Trump, porque imagínate, si los americanos ya no quieren vivir en Estados Unidos, ¿para dónde nos vamos a mudar? Si todos los demás países están peor.
Then started fighting them and actually threw 2 of them down and started beating the hell out of them, although they fought back bravely.
Bueno, yo puedo ir a votar para Florida. No tengo dirección ni conozco gente en Pensilvania. Entiendo lo que son los colegios electorales, entiendo cómo funcionan las elecciones en Estados Unidos, que no es por la cantidad de personas, es por los colegios que gane. Mi voto se lo puedo dar en Florida. Si le cuenta o no le cuenta, si le hace falta o no le hace falta, eso es irrelevante. Yo le doy mi voto en Florida, que puedo ir y votar. Que incluso tengo hasta la de esto de elección de Florida. Que by the way, tengo que renovar la boricua, porque tengo activa la de Florida todavía.
But these are tough people, and they know that in their country they'd be dead within minutes. They would be dead as a doornail within minutes. And so they came over here. So it took a long time, but now it's talking. Now you're seeing it. It's migrant crime. It's a new category of crime. And I wanted to call it Biden migrant crime, but it's too long. So we just call it migrant crime. We have a new category, migrant crime, and it's going to be more severe than violent crime and crime as we knew it, because we have millions and millions of people, and they came from prisons and jails. They came from
Bueno, yo viví en Florida mucho tiempo, Rof. Yo ahora que estoy viviendo en Puerto Rico.
An insane asylum is a mental institution on steroids, okay? It's Silence of the Lambs, okay? You know that. Hannibal Lecter. They're all being deposited into our country, and then you have terrorists. And
Dímelo, Carlos Vega, saludo.
And then you have human traffickers, and they're coming over at levels never seen before. We've never seen.
No, pero en el 2020 tenían a George Floyd, tenían a Black Lives Matter, que hoy en día todo el mundo sabe que son una estafa. Y Biden podía caminar. Hoy en día Biden no puede caminar. Lo de George Floyd fue una estafa. Black Lives Matter no sirve para nada. Lo que pasa es que en esos días la gente se dejó convencer, pero hoy en día estamos los adultos en internet. Imagínate si es a Molusco no se la dejamos pasar, no se la vamos a dejar pasar a ninguno. Trump 2024, vamos para arriba.
Anything like this. 3 years ago, we had the safest and most secure border in U.S. history. We ended catch and release, except when it was catch and release.
Con una GoPro le estamos haciendo la competencia a todos los miles de dólares que tienen en cámara allí.
571 miles of border wall, far more than I said I was going to build.
Está bien, Rof. Whatever you say, my friend.
Through Paul Ryan, he stopped at Paul Ryan, a super rhino. He's a super rhino.
Dímelo, Ramsey.
I couldn't get it through Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell. They said, sir, if you wait till next year. I said,
Eliezer va a ganar también.
Don't forget, I had never done this stuff before. You know, I'm the president. And
Free Verdejo también para encima.
They said, sir, if you would just sign this budget and wait, next year we'll put it. And then next year came. I said, where's my wall? They said, sir, we're not going to be able to get it. You know, in the meantime, they give trillions of dollars to the Democrats for the Green New scam. So what I did is I approved the military, and I took it out of the military. That's how I built it. I built the wall through the military. And the military, by the way, the Army Corps of Engineers did a great job. But I built it through 571 miles and 200 miles ready to go. It was laying there ready to be installed. It would have been 3 weeks. The entire thing would have been...
Bien, te están entendiendo lo que él dice. Ya la pared, the wall, lo que Trump estaba haciendo para parar los indocumentados, eso estaba casi ready. Estaba, mira, ya está, monten y dale. Y Biden lo quitó todo para atrás, porque ellos querían que entraran. Ellos quieren que entraran. Entonces, el gobierno te dice que no tengas hijos, que si eres pobre no tengas hijos, pero entonces están dejando entrar a los hijos de los pobres de otros países. Pero ¿cómo es esto? Hay chavos para los indocumentados y no hay chavos para los hijos de nosotros. No, papi, hay que sacar a los demócratas de allí, que ya estábamos. La debilidad no da nada bueno. Sentirse débil, frágil, inofensivo, no da nada bueno en la vida. Eso nada más lo piensa un tipo de 18 años. Ya con nosotros que hemos vivido la vida, entendemos que la fuerza es para usarla.
Double what I promised. And then we had the rigged election, and they said, we don't want to build the wall. We don't want to build it. And I said, you know, they really do want open walls. I figured it was maybe just talk. I said, they really want an open border. Nobody could understand it. They really want an open border. And that's when it began. And that's when our country had really, because we can drill. We have more energy. We have more liquid gold than any other country. We can drill. We can do all of these things.
No, pero está bien, Rof. Es bueno tener diferentes opiniones, normal, como todo.
But I don't have to be nice anymore because...
Yo te digo a ti que Trump nos va a beneficiar más que Biden. Eso está bien básico. Y que Kamala Harris y que cualquiera de ellos. Mira, dímelo, Fernan, saludito.
Million people, in my opinion, in a country that shouldn't be here. And they do come from prisons.
Tienes razón, Carlos Vega.
And they are terrorists. And we're going to be paying a price. And it'll be the largest deportation in the history of our country. And we have no choice.
Chico, por favor, Rof, ¿cómo que los republicanos son los que quieren cerrar la frontera? Los republicanos no quieren dar el voto porque los demócratas metieron otras cosas en lo que hay que votar. ¿Me entiendes? Entonces, para. No. Ah, pues ¿sabes qué? No voy a dar el voto, pero voy a mandar la Guardia Nacional de 25 estados republicanos para que no dejen que los indocumentados entren. Lo que pasa es que los demócratas son unos listos. No te están diciendo las otras cláusulas que están en la ley. Te están diciendo que los republicanos no han votado para aprobar la ley, pero no te están diciendo lo que está debajo de las letras pequeñas. ¿Por qué tú crees que los gobernadores, los senadores, si el pueblo el estado de Texas quiere que vote para cerrar la frontera, los senadores van a votar? ¿Tú no crees? Pero hay unas letras pequeñas que no quieren soltarlas. Mejor mandamos la Guardia Nacional y que cerremos la frontera. Olvídate, esperamos que venga Trump y se acabó el problema. Porque no es que los republicanos no quieren, es que incluye otras cosas que los republicanos no quieren aprobar, las otras cosas que incluyen. Ellos sí quieren cerrar la frontera. Además, la frontera se puede cerrar con una orden ejecutiva. ¿Por qué? Porque las fuerzas federales, FBI, todas estas agencias están debajo del ejecutivo. Con que Biden diga, mira, Border Patrol, cierra eso ahí. Que el Senado quiera irse en contra del presidente y hacer una votación para cerrarlas por encima de lo que Biden dice es otra cosa. Porque Biden puede cerrarlas hoy. Hace una orden ejecutiva, ciérrame la frontera, se acabó el problema, no tiene que esperar la aprobación de nada. El Senado quiere cerrarlas viéndose por encima de Biden, que ese es el problema que hay. Bueno, Rof, yo hago esto todos los días. Dime algo nuevo tú. No me digas un bochinche de pasillo.
No, they're killing our people. They're killing our country. They're killing our people. We have no choice. You know, when I went to Mexico, I said, Mr. President, you're going to have to give us 28,000 soldiers because the caravans, that was another name I came up with. I come up with good names.
Good names.
Long-time politicians come to see me, sir, could you give a name to my opponent? I said, how long?
Trump, Bukele y Milei es lo nuevo y es lo que va a dominar las Américas.
But I went to the president of Mexico. I said, they're coming through your country and thousands of people in these caravans. They have one coming up now, supposedly 25,000 people. They're going to walk right into our country. We have no idea who the hell they are. But it started with Honduras. It started with El Salvador. They just started, but now we're equal opportunity. We have every country. We have countries that, honestly, nobody has ever heard of. We have languages coming into our country. We don't have one instructor in our entire nation that can speak that language. These are languages. It's the craziest thing. They have languages that nobody in this country has ever heard of. It's a very...
Mire mi gente. Los indocumentados que llegaron hace 10 años, que tuvieron que pasar el trabajo de llegar a Estados Unidos, pagarle el coyote, todo el revolú, no quieren que sigan llegando indocumentados, porque hoy en día es fácil entrar. Entonces le están quitando el valor al que pasó la misión. Acuérdate que antes, para tú entrar a Estados Unidos ilegalmente, tú tenías que hacer una misión brutal de ir por el monte, caminar, que si el cartel, que si lo otro. Entonces los que llegaban venían a trabajar porque no las quieren cagar. Los que llegan ahora, con los mismos chavos que le da el gobierno, se compran la primera motora y se ponen a wheelear allá en la Cuarta Avenida en Nueva York. Ya entrar, vienen con niños caminando. Imagínate lo fácil que es entrar. Le quitaron el valor a llegar a Estados Unidos. Hay que cerrar las fronteras. ¿Para qué? Para que sea un filtro. Y el que entre a Estados Unidos llegue derechito. Porque los que están llegando ahora están al garete. La verdad, porque como llegan, les dan chavos, les dan plan médico, les pagan el hotel por un mes. Pues papi, fíjate, vinieron a vacilar.
Horrible thing. I said to the president of Mexico, you're going to have to give us 28,000 soldiers for your...
Rafa es un bot.
No, Donald, I will not do that. I will not do that. I cannot do that. And I said, no, you will.
Exacto, Luis Vázquez. Exactamente.
No, I will not do it. I said, listen, you and I friends, I really like him a lot. So I said, let's not you and I. Just give me a negotiator because I don't want to do this with you. And he said, I will do that. And he sent me this very handsome guy, so handsome, so beautifully dressed. In fact, I asked him for the name of his tailor. Then when I found out how much he paid for the suit, I said, forget it, keep it. But he was
Chico,
a handsome devil.
Biden no sabe. Va para el video. ¿De verdad tú crees que Biden tomó la decisión de querer hacerlo bipartidista? Hermano, Biden no se puede amarrar los zapatos. ¿Quién tomó la decisión de que disque bipartidista? Lo que hay es que cerrar la frontera. ¿Quién es el que se está oponiendo a cerrar la frontera? El presidente, papi. Pues tú no ves los 25 estados americanos republicanos enviando a la Guardia Nacional a parar la frontera. Eso no lo está haciendo el presidente, eso lo están haciendo los mismos gobernadores que no están de acuerdo con Biden. Manda a la Guardia Nacional y vamos a arreglar esto. Los demócratas son los que no quieren hacerlo. Los republicanos toda la vida, eso no es ahora nada más. Si tú eres republicano, te voy a explicar las cualidades que tiene un republicano. Primero, no está a favor del aborto. Segundo, pro familia. Tercero, cierra la frontera. ¿Me entienden? Cuarto, hombres son hombres, mujeres son mujeres. Los que estén confundidos no es problema de nadie. Eso es lo que es ser un republicano. ¿Qué es ser un demócrata? Los hombres con falda son mujeres. El cuerpo de la mujer es de la mujer, sin importar el bebé que está adentro. A los criminales hay que tratarlos suave. Eso es un pensamiento filosófico desde que comenzó Estados Unidos. Siempre ha sido así. Siempre ha sido así. So, Biden no sabe ni dónde está parado. Biden no sabe la diferencia entre un republicano y un demócrata ahora mismo.
You know, Tom Homan was up before. He's fantastic. And he does go around saying, I love this guy. He says, Trump was the greatest president in history.
Mira, Carlos Vega lo está diciendo que vive en Texas.
In his lifetime, any president that was even close. And he's right about that. He's right. I mean, we know the results.
No, papi, yo tengo pasaporte. Yo no soy ningún documentado. Y yo no creo que nadie de los que está en el chat. Combo, todos ustedes tienen pasaporte. Pues esos son los documentos que hay que tener, pasaporte americano. Y ya tú no eres indocumentado.
Soldiers, no. Then the new guy comes in, the representative says, yes, sir, what can I do? Now, I asked Tom Homan, Brandon Judd, and a person from the State Department, a wonderful woman. She's been there for over 20
Valerie.
Years. She covered Mexico for over 20 years. She knew it, and she was competent. She was good. She wasn't a good negotiator. And I said, what would you like? Give me your top. I want a top 10 list. Well, sir, we'd like to remain in Mexico, but we've been trying to get that for years. You won't be able to get that, and you won't be able to get a catch and release in Mexico. You know, we have catch and release, and we catch a criminal and we release them in our country. I said, no. Catch and release is fine in Mexico. Title 42, I want. That's.
¿Están entendiendo lo que está explicando? Mira. Trump lo que les dijo a ellos, porque ahora mismo no es una ley, es como una modalidad de catch and release. Porque obviamente por ley, si tú rompes un carro, te meten preso. Pero si eres indocumentado y el daño es menor de $1,000, te sueltan. Catch and release. Eso es lo que Trump está diciendo. No, tú puedes hacer catch and release en México, no en Estados Unidos. Porque ahora mismo están así en Estados Unidos, catch and release. Eso es el problema que tiene Nueva York ahora mismo.
Sick people and with the children, you've got to get the children back to their parents. All of these things, they gave me a list. But they thought they were wasting time. It was a list of 10 things, tough things. Just ask Tijuana if they were tough. Tijuana became one of the largest cities in the world all of a sudden. They said, what the hell is going on? So this guy comes in, and I say, look, number one, I want 28,000 soldiers free of charge. And he goes, oh, we're not going to do that. We're not doing it. He thought I was crazy, by the way. I said, oh, no, you're going to do it, 100%. No, we're not going to do it. I said, you're going to do it. I guarantee you, you're going to do it. And he goes, no way. I said, way. And he said, we will not do that, sir. We will not do that. I said, here's what else you're going to do. Remain in Mexico. Nobody comes into our country until they're checked at the border. You're going to do remain in Mexico. You're going to do catch and release into Mexico, not into our country. You're going to do all sorts of things. You know, we had a lot of medical problems. People were coming in deathly sick with a disease, highly contagious disease. I said, I don't want our people catching these diseases that we never even heard about. They have diseases nobody's ever even heard about. I'm sorry. I feel badly for the people, but we don't want to have this contagion in our country. I'm sorry. And we did that. So we had a list of these 10 things, one tougher than the next. And he said, we're not even going to think about this. And the person from the State Department, this really good woman, but she said, sir, you're just going to be wasting your time. And I said, all right. I said, I'll make you a little bet. I'll bet you I get all 10 within minutes. And she thought I was crazy, too. So after he said, no way, I said, way. And then I said, here is what's going to happen. If you don't approve this and if you don't give us those soldiers, and their soldiers are not politically correct. You know, our soldiers, if you say, excuse me, madam, you're not supposed to be entering our country. Ma'am, please don't enter our country. Then they get indicted because they talk to her too rough, you know. We have the greatest soldiers in the world, but they're not allowed to do their job. I proved that with ISIS. Our soldiers knocked the hell out of ISIS once I took over and took it away from our fake television generals. We have great generals, but not the ones like Milley and these guys on television. They're fake. I had generals that were really tough. I had generals that I had.
Mira, Joe dijo algo muy interesante. Pasaporte americano y puedes vivir en Colombia tranquilamente. Al revés, no creo. Tienes que hacer tus truquitos porque con tu pasaporte colombiano tú no puedes irte un año para Estados Unidos a vivir buena vida. Hello, por eso que caminan, por eso se montan en el tren y por eso van indocumentados. Obvio, tú no has visto a los americanos bajar indocumentados para Sudamérica. Tú no has visto a los americanos irse en yola para Cuba. Digo, solo por lógica, my friends.
Go back, okay? We have great military, and it's only woke at the top. I don't think it can ever be woken.
Ajá, mira, exacto. Mira, doctora Raquel, se me pasó eso, lo que dijo Luis Vázquez. Papi, ven acá. Si tú tienes una propiedad, no le vas a poner una verja para que el vecino te haga lo que están haciendo. Entran por ahí. Si tienes animales, se te van por ahí. ¿Qué vas a dejar que el vecino construya una casa en tu patio? También. Hay que hacerle una casa al vecino porque no tiene casa. Pues papi, váyase a trabajar y compre una propiedad. Y usted quiere tener cosas, pues ahorra, recorta gastos, deja de estar bebiendo y jangueando y te pones para comprar las cosas. Pero imagínate, de party todo el weekend y llega los lunes tan pelados y se molestan. Entonces la culpa es del Estado.
At the lower levels, because these are great people, tough people. I really
Duro, North Carolina, durísimo.
It was only at the top. And remember, when I let them go, 4 weeks. We were told 4 years, and it probably can't be done. I knocked it out in 4 weeks. Our military is great. I said to one of the generals, what's your name? Kane, sir. My name is Kane. He looked better than any movie actor you could get. My name is Kane, sir. I said, all right, Kane, what's your first name? They call me Raisin.
Raisin. Tienes razón, Valerie.
I said, what? Raisin, sir. Your name is Raisin Kane? Yes, sir. I love you. You're the man I'm looking for. You're the man I'm looking for. And I said, why is ISIS so tough? He said, they're not tough, sir. They just don't let us do our job. I said, why not? He said, because, and this is after I flew to Iraq. You know, I flew to Iraq in a plane. Some of you know the story. It was all dark. After spending 20 years and $1 trillion, we can't turn the lights on in a plane. I sat with the pilots, the most handsome human beings I've ever seen. It's not my thing, but they're handsome. Not my thing.
No my thing, que duro este Trump.
Central casting. Better looking than Tom Cruise and taller.
Qué duro este Trump.
I'll deviate on the stories. Now, by the way, when I deviate, they'll say, oh, he went from... No. A really smart person can go through various stories, always come back and conclude everything. Okay. Don't worry, we'll get back to Mexico. But this is almost... right now, this is more exciting.
Yeah,
so the planes say, why are you doing that? Because, sir, we're flying over an area that's very dangerous, where we spent 20 years eradicating. And so I said, I want to go sit with the pilots, because I often do that. And I'm sitting with the pilots, and I get up there, I'm feeling my way up. And the plane was absolutely dark, no lights on the outside, no lights on the inside. It was a little spooky. We're up there 40,000 feet getting ready to start going down, and they're telling us we can't have any lights, no lights in your cabin, sir. And then they pull down the shades anyway. So I'm sort of feeling my way. I get up there, and I see this captain with the crew cut, the whole deal he's got. Yes, sir, it's an honor to be with you, sir. And I said, Captain, I don't see any lights. You know, we're getting close. Is there a problem out there, Captain? No, sir, we'll be landing in less than 30 minutes, sir. I say, all right, and I'm sitting in a seat that's right in the back between these two handsome human beings. And, you know, they always give the best pilots, the Air Force One and Marine One, the helicopters, which is good. One thing you know, you got great pilots. These are the best. And so he said, no problem, sir. We'll be landing in a little while. And then 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes. I haven't seen one light. There's nothing. It's like, and I'm getting a little nervous. You know, do you ever see? I'm trying to act cool as a cucumber. And it's, if you know anything about planes, you have the I call it the computer voice. It's the most beautiful voice. If I had that voice, I would have been president 20 years earlier.
Qué duro este Trump.
But the most beautiful voice, so professional. 1,000. That means you're 1,000 feet over the ground. Now, I haven't seen a light. I haven't seen anything. It's just dead. There's not anything. That means we're like really low. We have this massive plane. We're just right off the ground. Then it goes 900, 800, 700, 600. Now, we're 600 feet off the ground. We're flying in. The plane is dark with the exception of a tiny little light that they've got on their dashboard underneath everything and totally concealed. There's not a light anywhere. I've never seen anything. It was like dark. 500. I say to Captain, are we okay? Captain, everything fine? Yes, sir. No problem. We'll be on the ground in just a few minutes, sir. I say, what ground? So, 400, 300, 200. Captain, are we okay? Yes, sir. We'll be landing momentarily, sir. 100. Now, usually when you're in these planes, I do it a lot, you have lights bursting, big lights. You got a runway, it's lit up like a candle. There's not one light. There's not even a little, what they call a pigeon light. That's a tiny little light. 100. And I want to ask him again, but I want to show some bravery. Because I thought we were going down for the count. And then all of a sudden, and it's genius, there is no light. And then all of us are 100, and then bing, beautiful landing like nothing to it. Sir, it was an honor to be with you today, sir. Thank you, Captain. Does anybody have a towel? I'm saying, does anybody have a towel? I need a towel.
Qué duro ese Trump.
So now I'm walking out and getting ready to go down and meet the general.
Yo sé que muchos entienden inglés, pero quizás hay un par de personas que están viendo esto desde Puerto Rico y no entienden. Mi gente, él está contando una anécdota, que estaba montado en un avión y él le dio con ir para la zona de guerra. Entonces, cuando están llegando a la zona de guerra, dicen, apague las luces, cierre las ventanas. Y Trump, espérate. Sí, no puedes usar las luces. Y entonces él está asustado, no hay luces en el avión y tienen que aterrizar. Entonces está contando eso, que el piloto está ahí, y entonces empieza una voz a decir 900 pies, 800 pies, 700 pies. Y él estaba, ay Dios mío, nos vamos a estrellar, aquí no hay luces. Y eso lo estaba contando. Hecho, que a mí me encanta Trump porque Trump es como si fuera usted o yo. La diferencia es que tiene un montón de dinero. Pero personalmente es real. Él estaba asustado en el Air Force One. Papi, nos vamos a estrellar aquí. Lo mismo que yo hubiera dicho, diablo. Espérate, ¿entiendes? Entonces, como él dice, los pilotos eran guapos. Pero a mí no me gustan los hombres, pero para que sepan que los pilotos eran guapos.
In Iraq to find out why we're not defeating ISIS. And I see my staff and I say, that was quite an experience I just had. yes, sir, the great landing. I said, yeah, what was it? And I said, let me ask you a question.
Eso es algo que está diciendo Joe, es importante, mi gente. El puertorriqueño no entiende que si usted va a Italia y lo tratan bien, es porque usted es americano, aunque usted crea que no. Si usted va a Afganistán y no lo secuestran, es porque usted es americano, aunque usted crea que no. Si usted dice, ay, yo me fui para Acapulco, compré un pasaje como si nada. Claro, porque tiene un pasaporte americano. Obvio, obvio. Ah, no, pero yo estaba en Egipto los otros días. Claro, porque tiene un pasaporte americano. ¿Te encontraste cubanos? ¿Te encontraste venezolanos? ¿O te encontraste gente que no puede salir de sus países como los demás? Es que damos por hecho que tenemos tanta libertad por el pasaporte americano que nacemos con ella y pensamos que es normal. El día que no la tengamos, que tengamos que irnos en balsa para Estados Unidos o caminar con el tren de Jarabacoa ese, que es un peligro, ese día vamos a decir, ay Dios mío, ¿por qué no salimos de los americanos? ¿Sí? Porque querían ser soberanos como Lugaro.
Is the President of the United States allowed to give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor for bravery? Because I did a very brave thing. I was so brave.
No, pero Carlos Vega, no pensamos que es racismo porque es lo mismo. Papi, ponte a pensar, uno lleva tiempo en esa donde tú estás ahora, trabajando y haciendo cosas, y de repente tú ves que llegan 5 indocumentados, les dan cupones, si tienes 5 hijos les dan 1,000 y pico pesos cupones, les dan un hotel gratis. Pero entonces, si hay chavos para regálaselos a los que están trabajando, o se los vas a dar a los nuevos. Porque si hay dinero para regalarle a todos esos indocumentados, para eso darle ese dinero a los americanos. ¿Tú no crees que es lo más lógico? Que en vez de estar dándoselo a indocumentados que van a coger ese dinero y lo van a mandar para sus países. Es como que, en Estados Unidos estamos chavados, pero lo poco que hay se lo vamos a regalar a los que lleguen. Y los que están aquí, ¿qué vamos a hacer? No, papi, no. Hay que cerrar la frontera ya.
Am I allowed to do it? And they said, sir, it would not be a good thing to do. Now, here's the problem with that story. The fake news media will lead tomorrow. Donald Trump wanted to give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor. It's true. It's true. When I imitate Biden, who can't find the stairs ever. You know, you have so many stairs in it. You got one there, you got ramps, you got everything. Here, you only have 2 or 3 stairs. Sometimes you have 6, 7 stairs. The craziest thing, what a waste of money. My father would say, what the hell are they doing? All you need is 1 stair. But for Biden, you need many. But when I imitate him with the stairs, because he never can find his way. If you ever see Secret
Exactamente,
Service,
Ivonne. Exactamente.
Helps him off the stage.
¿Tú te imaginas? Óyeme, ¿qué ha pasado? ¿Tú te imaginas que sin querer tú vayas a Colombia? Mira, no decir, déjame decir otro país, que tú vayas a cualquier país y la guerrilla o el que sea te secuestre. ¿Quién te va a rescatar? No va a ser Pierluisi con Juan Leche, el comisionado de la policía. No va a ser Jennifer González. Si usted tiene un problema y lo secuestran en Egipto, en Rusia, donde usted quiera, lo que va a llegar allí se llama USA Military Power a rescatar a un boricua. Por más que dicen que somos ciudadanos de segunda, yo no me siento de segunda. Yo tengo iPhone, yo tengo una buena casa, yo tengo una buena computadora y salgo para donde me dé la gana. Yo me siento igualito que Trump sin el dinero. Esa es la única diferencia. Él tiene un par de ceros más. Pero yo tengo la misma cara, la misma fuerza, 2 manos, 2 ojos, como igual. Y escupo también igual que Trump. Yo no me siento menos que nadie, ni más tampoco. Yo no entiendo cuál es el complejo de estos independentistas. Ay, ciudadanos de segunda. Ven acá, tú me quieres decir a mí que si tú eres un ciudadano de segunda, tú estás en Burger King, si llega un gringo, tienes que darle tu lugar para que él coma primero. Eso sería un ciudadano de segunda. Que si tú estás echando gasolina y llega un americano, tú tienes que darle tu turno a que él eche gasolina primero que tú. ¿Eso pasa aquí? Eso no pasa aquí. Eso no pasa aquí ni en ningún lugar. Usted va a Estados Unidos y si tú tienes dinero para pagar la gasolina, se la van a vender igual que se la venden al blanco, igual que se la venden al negro. ¿Dónde está el racismo? No, si usted tiene dinero, nadie va a ser racista consigo. Usted trabaja y consiga las cosas, vaya y las pague. Y se acaba el racismo. Usted haga ese dinero y nadie va a ser racista con usted.
This is what we have negotiating nuclear weapons.
Ven acá. Usted sabe que los millonarios se reúnen. Cuando los millonarios de verdad, unos son de Arabia, unos de África, unos americanos. Ahí hay blancos, negros, árabes, cristianos. ¿Y usted cree que a esa gente le importa si el que está al lado es blanco o es negro? A él lo que le importa es que el que está al lado tenga los mismos millones que tiene él. Ya. Hasta el millonario el racismo es mínimo.
So he finishes his speech, and do you ever notice? He finishes it. The speeches last about, would you say, average 2,
Exactamente,
3
Valerie.
minutes, right?
Tú estás pagando el hotel. Todos los que pagamos taxes, le estamos pagando las motoritas, los hoteles, los cupones. O vengan acá. Cuando le dan cupones, el food stamp a alguien, ¿de dónde sale el dinero? ¿De dónde sale el dinero? De los que pagamos. Porque no es como que hay comida gratis para los inmigrantes. Es que la estamos pagando a los que tenemos documentos.
Not good. Not good. But the press gives him good marks. I remember when he made such a bad State of the Union
Exactamente,
speech.
Mark
Everybody was
Lewis.
stumbling, mumbling. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. And I said, I'm going to watch CNN, MSDNC to find out what they say, because that was one of the worst speeches. They said, not since FDR has there been a speech so magnificently delivered. I'm telling you, I've never, ever forgotten it. Not since FDR. I said, it's impossible. They're fake. They're terrible. But you know what? When he goes, and he always points, he goes like this, thank you. Where am I? Thank you. And then he goes, and he points. You ever notice? And it's always he ends up going in the opposite direction ultimately. But he goes, and then sometimes he trips over the machine.
Trump está brutal.
And then we don't have it here. But if there's a wall behind him, he ends up walking into the wall.
Tripeándose a Biden. Que es un juego.
And then one of these incredible guys from...
Mi gente, mala mía. Quizás suene extraño lo que voy a decir. El bullying es importante. ¿Usted sabe por qué? Porque si usted estaba gordito, el bullying hacía que te metieras al gimnasio. Si usted estaba colgado en la escuela, el bullying hacía que te pusieras a estudiar. ¿Entiendes? Si a ti te gustaba una jeva bien rica, el bullying o el hecho de que no la tenías te hacía irte al gimnasio, conseguir chavos, y eso siempre te ayudaba. Pero como ahora todo el mundo es un 10, todo el mundo es bueno, todo el mundo es lindo, todo el mundo merece todo sin ganárselo. No, hay que empezar a burlarnos de la gente como hace Trump. Mira a Trump cómo se burla de Biden. Mira qué cosa más saludable, Dios mío.
All these beautiful guys, they run up stage. Look at these guys like central casting, right? They'll run up stage, they'll grab them, and they're not meant to smile. You know, they're very hard line. When I tell stories, they're like this. I guess they're trained that way. They never smile.
Exactamente, Ivonne.
Well, sure. They actually turn away. It's good. This way you don't have to say good morning all the time.
Bueno, entiendo que tú dices, Ramses, que sí está mucho complejo. Pero, por ejemplo, si tú quieres comprarte un carro y tienes los chavos, tú vas al dealer y te lo van a vender. Olvídate si el vendedor te miró raro, si el vendedor no le caen bien los latinos. Olvídate de eso. Te tiene que vender el carro. Normal, ¿me entiendes? Ahora, que tú fueras a un dealer y porque eres latino, no, usted no puede comprar aquí, se tiene que ir. Ahí sí fuéramos de segunda mesa.
Okay, no, they train them this way. But so one of these guys will run up and grab them and take them off the stage. This is what we have as our president. But the worst thing is when I do that, the fake news. I call up my wife, our great first lady. She was a great first. People love her. Yeah, people love her. Oh, look at that. Wow. Mercedes, that's pretty good. Yeah, she's good.
Está bien vigente, pero mira, no sé cómo explicarte un ejemplo. Te voy a dar un ejemplo que no digo que me moleste, porque si me molesta me recortaba. Y a mí me gusta mi pelo así. Tú sabes todas las veces que me dicen que tengo una peluca. Si yo fuera un loco, ay, Dios mío, qué bastriz. Eso es una tontería. ¿Me entiendes? Es como, qué sé yo, tiene un carro nuevo, tiene un carro viejo. Usted es un tonto si se deja manipular. Pero donde yo digo que el bullying, tú me puedes decir lo que tú quieras. En mí está molestarme o que no me moleste. Pero imagínate, yo voy a quitarte tu libertad de expresión porque no me haga sentir mal. ¿Seré yo de papel que me rompo? ¿O seré yo de porcelana que no me puedes hacer sentir mal porque me rompo? No, somos humanos, aguantamos carne y hueso. Y somos, olvídate, para matarnos necesitas cáncer, diabetes, muchachos, 100 años y todavía tienes que pasar un susto para que te mueras. ¿Sabes lo que te quiero decir? El ser humano es más sólido, es más fuerte de lo que parece. Pero el bullying, que digan lo que les dé la gana, total, y la gente tiene que aprender a escuchar críticas, porque imagínate.
And she loves our country and she loves the people. It's true. When I give these big rallies,
Mira, dímelo, J. David.
They say, we love our first lady. They have signs. We love her. They always show a high heel, you know. But we love our first lady. But I call up our
Mira,
first lady.
Yaranesi, gracias, duro.
Baby, how good was that?
Durísimo, gracias.
She's a very tough critic. I'll go into a group. I'll speak in front of 55, 56, 68,000 people sometimes. I'll call her up.
Mi gente, en Estados Unidos, usted puede ir en pijama al supermercado, al puesto de gasolina. Usted puede hacer lo que usted quiera en pijama y con rolo, que nadie le va a decir nada. Aquí, muchacho. Yo tenía una jeva que mejor no comíamos. Si estaba tirada, no iba a ir al supermercado. Mejor no comemos. Ella tiene que cambiarse, quitarse las cosas. En Estados Unidos, muchachos, hasta en calzoncillo van caminando el puesto de gasolina.
Say, how good was I tonight? Was that unbelievable? She goes, well, your hair didn't look good. Oh.
El pelo, ¿viste? El pelo del Trump.
But it's very hard to get like, you know, once in a while she goes, you were really good tonight, but that's like a major. But I said, in this case, I said, how good was that tonight? She said, you were really good tonight, but what happened? You couldn't find your way off the stage. Because the fake news said Donald Trump couldn't find his way off the stage. I said, wow. Or when I interject a name, like I go, our president, Barack Hussein Obama. Rush Limbaugh, remember? He would always, right, Seb? Rush would go, Barack Hussein. You couldn't hear Barack or Obama.
Viste, te hablo claro. Yo puedo ir en pijama, pero por lo menos la camisa sí. Porque me ha pasado que me he ido muy tirado y me encuentro a alguien de la música que quiere tirarse una foto. Pues tampoco puedo ir muy al garete porque ¿qué le voy a decir que no? Y voy a salir así esgreñado y con una camisa sucia, un ejemplo. Pero de ahí para allá, muchacho. Es más que yo no hago ni compra. Supermax online por computador y me llega a casa. Se acabó el problema. Yo no, lo único que no puedo comprar es gasolina online, pero el día que pudiera.
But the name Hussein, he'd be screaming. I don't know exactly what he meant by that. I think I do. But he'd go, Barack Hussein.
Exacto,
so
Luis Vázquez. Allá la gente no está pendiente.
Barack
Eso es acá en Puerto
Hussein
Rico nada más.
Obama, our president has done this. Now, I meant that because there are those people that say he's running our country. Because Joe is not strong on aptitude. So there are those. We don't know that that's true. But they go out and they say, Donald Trump, headline. Donald Trump doesn't know who the president of our country. He thinks Obama's the president, Lou. Look at the great Lou Dobbs. He thinks Obama is the president. So when I'm sarcastic, because I'm sort of a sarcastic guy, I find humor in sarcasm, but it's very dangerous to do because they take it very seriously. But it's a very serious subject because of what happened. To finish the first story. What happened? Hey, by the way, isn't this better than reading off a frickin' teleprompter? Right? Anybody can do that except for Biden.
Biden.
Anybody can read off a teleprompter except for Biden. He can't do that either.
Mi gente, uno tiene que ser bien inteligente para hacer un stand-up comedy como lo está haciendo Trump. Que es la mitad es cosas realmente que pasaron y la otra mitad es tripeándose a la gente, lo que pensó aquí, lo que dijo allá. Para mí el tipo es súper inteligente. Lo que pasa es que él es bien sarcástico. Imagínate, y la gente rápido se asusta. Mira, la vacuna. Chicos, si es un poquito de cloro para que te desinfecte. ¡Ah, wow! Trump dijo esto, Trump dijo... ¡Ah! Somos adultos, no tiene sentido, no tiene sentido de diversión. Dios mío.
He can't do that either. He asks questions. News conference. Hey, when I'm in a news conference, people with these maniacs, these lunatics are screaming at me.
Entiendo lo que dices, Meili, pero por ejemplo, te voy a decir maliciosamente, si hipotéticamente, porque obviamente tú estás por allá y estoy por acá, si tú fueras mi jeva y tú me dices que hasta para el supermercado tienes que arreglarte, yo te tengo que dejar, yo tengo que dejarte. ¿Sabes? No te voy a dejar ese día, pero en ese momento empiezo a buscar a otra. ¿Sabes por qué? ¿Y para quién tú te tienes que arreglar en el supermercado? Si yo te estoy viendo en pijama, automáticamente yo sigo con ella calladito, pero ya empiezo a tirarle a otra. Esta no sirve. Porque ¿a quién tú le tienes que, para quién tú le tienes que arreglar en el supermercado? ¿Tú quieres seguir llamando la atención de otros? Ok, no hay problema, no te voy a decir que hagas nada. Pero te ganaste un cuernito.
They're just screaming like crazy. And, you take them, and I love it. It's like a mental challenge. It's horrible people. But they're screaming, and you're answering, and you're getting them.
No, pero sabiondo, donde yo vivo, yo no... O sea, hay motoras para autopista, pero al frente de mi casa no pasa nadie en motora. Esto es urbanización de acceso controlado, que aquí no entra nadie que no viva aquí. Y el boceteo, yo creo que eso le están dando ticket en todos lados. Que yo no creo que haya mucha gente dándole el boceteo ya.
Sometimes they get in trouble because they say you were too tough, you were too nasty, too this. The people don't like that. I understand that too. But he asks like a question, and it's, Bob.
Tripeándose a Biden, qué duro.
NBC. Okay. Mr. President, sir.
Mira, dio la arroz con salchicha, está pasando.
Did you have ice cream today? Then he picks up the paper and he reads the answer.
Agustín Laje, yes, muy duro. Y
it was vanilla.
También tiene muchos videos. Que quizás no leas el libro porque es más complicado encontrarlo, pero vas a YouTube y tiene un montón de videos donde explica todo.
No, but they ask him questions and they give him an answer. That never happened to me, right? I walk out there and it's like a free-for-all. But it's a sad thing. Okay. So now I go off and watch. You know this is all genius, okay? You do know. I hope you know. I always say my uncle was the longest-serving professor in the history of MIT, Dr. John Trump. We have a lot of great aptitude. They'll say, "You rambled." Nobody can ramble like this. Nobody. If they did, they wouldn't even try. You know what? They go step by step, and they would never get off that sucker. They go step by step. But what happens, and it's very interesting.
Qué dura, Valerie. Pijama para salir, para dormir.
I've just learned that I should not give myself the Congressional Medal of Honor. My people are saying, "Can you believe he asked that question?" But we get off the plane, and I'm walking down. I'm going down this big ramp. I took the high stair. I don't like the children. We call it the children's. I never had a problem with it, but I'm walking down, and I'm looking down, and I see these central casting people. A general, another general, a colonel, a staff sergeant, could be in any movie. These guys, it's like perfect. They're like perfect individuals. If I were casting a movie on the military, I would pick these guys. There's nobody you could hire in Hollywood that looks like this. So I walked down, and this is where I met General Raisin Kane. And what's your name? General, what's your name? And he gave me his name. What's your name, Sergeant? Yes, sir, and I love you, sir. I think you're great, sir. I'll kill for you, sir. Then he puts on a Make America Great Again hat.
Gracias,
You're
Gino.
not allowed to do
Saludito.
that, but they did it. I remember I went into the hangar and there were hundreds of troops. And they're not supposed to do this, but they all put on the Make America Great Again hat.
Duro, San Juan en la casa.
Not supposed to do it. I said, you're not supposed to do that. You know that. They said, it's okay, sir. We don't care. We don't care. And I met these people, and I said, so what do you think, General, sir? Would you like to rest up? See, this is before Biden. See, if I had Biden, I'd say, I'm not Biden. But we didn't know how bad he would be because we hadn't been tested yet. Sir, I said, he said, would you like to rest up for a little while? Then we'll have a meeting. We're all set. And this place is like all bunkers. There's no windows, no nothing. It's all bunkers, real stark, but beautiful in a certain way. Billions and billions of dollars it cost many years ago. And I said, no, I'm okay, General. Let's get the business. He was probably surprised. So we started. I say, so General Mattis and all these guys that tell me back in Washington that it'll take 4 or 5 years to defeat ISIS. Why? Sir, it's not true, sir. It's not true. I said, what's not true? We can do it very quickly. How quickly? 4 weeks, sir. Wait a minute. I was told 4 years, and you might not be able to. Sir, we can have it done in 4 weeks. Why? How? What were they doing? Sir, it's our job as a soldier. When they come in from Washington, they're a higher rank. We respect them. We have to respect them. That's our job. I understood exactly what he was saying. He said, sir, when they come in, they tell us what to do, and we do it. I say, don't you question what this is? No, sir, we don't question. They came in, they had a plan, and we said we'd do that plan. What was wrong with the plan? We attacked from way far away, sir, and only one place. It happened to be here. We're hundreds of miles away. By the time the planes got there, they practically had to go back and refuel. I said, what would you do, General? You don't mind if I tell you, sir, do you? He said, I don't mind. I'm waiting to hear. He said, sir, we have auxiliary ports, and we have runways all over the place. They're portables. We call them portables. We put them up faster. We take them down even faster. And they're damn good, sir. What I'd do is I'd hit him from 9 different locations. I'd hit him from the left. Now he's getting excited. I'd hit him from the right. I'd hit him from up top. I'd go right the hell under the damn ground.
Saludito, Alternative Music.
I would have been in trouble with the religious right, but they love me so.
Mira, dímelo, Flow, Emma. Está pasando,
Please
Emma.
don't do that, sir. I would have been in, I was just so proud of myself I was able to stop it. But I'd hit him from the left, I'd hit him from the right, I'd hit him from east and west and north and south, sir. They would be over very quickly. I said, well.
Voy a explicar un poquito para los que quizás no entiendan mucho inglés. Él está contando una anécdota que él se reunió con unos militares y entonces a Trump le habían dicho que les tomaba 4 años en poder terminar con el talibán, ¿sabe? Con la guerra que hay en Afganistán, el talibán. Entonces se reúne con los soldados, con los generales, coroneles que están allí en la guerra, que están allá en Afganistán. Entonces ellos le dicen, mira, nosotros podemos tumbar los talibanes en 4 semanas. Y Trump, 4 semanas. Pero si esta gente me están diciendo 4 años. Y entonces él le dice, con mucho respeto, ¿le puedo decir lo que está pasando? Sí, dime lo que está pasando. Bueno, lo que pasa es que ustedes mandan generales, coroneles, desde Washington para acá. Nosotros, como somos militares, le hacemos caso a todo lo que ellos digan y no cuestionamos la orden como nos enseñaron en el Army. Pero si yo lo fuera a hacer, muchachos, pasa es que esta gente de Washington están cogiendo y ellos quieren atacar desde acá, desde lejos. Y cuando los aviones están llegando a atacar, ya están sin gasolina y tienen que volver a virar a echar gasolina. Si yo le hice el soldado a Trump o el coronel, si yo fuera a atacarlo, yo los ataco de 9 lugares diferentes, montamos unas pistas aéreas que son desmontables y los atacamos en 4 semanas, los limpiamos a todos. Ahí que está diciendo el chiste. Por ahí es que va. Pero como los de Washington nos mandan a hacer esos planes, nosotros seguimos las instrucciones como todo buen soldado. Pero esto lo podemos arreglar rápido.
Why didn't they do it before? Because, sir, some of the ports And some of these runways are located in countries where they didn't want to be politically incorrect and use a runway and attack the enemy. And their savages, sir, attack them from certain points. I said, so you'd attack them and you'd hit them hard, right? Yes, sir, I'd hit them so hard. And I said, and it would take you 4 weeks, maybe more, maybe less, sir.
Maybe less.
So I said, you gotta be kidding. I said, I'm gonna go back to Washington and I'm gonna think about this because nobody ever told me about this. He says, sir, we'll have time left over. So I go back to Washington and I call and just spoke once more. Are you sure you can do this, sir? We can do it, sir. I'm telling you this, sir, because we have the greatest military in the world. You know, you see these clowns, these stupid people with Afghanistan. You see these stupid people, Matt, from Afghanistan, the withdrawal, the worst, most embarrassing moment in our lives. They take the military out first. I knew Abdul. I said, Abdul, you'll get hit so hard. 18 months, we didn't have one soldier killed in Afghanistan. I was the one that had it ready. It was enough. 21 years, that was enough. It was ridiculous, but I would have never let Bagram go because Bagram is 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons, and they let it go. They left at the dark of night. They left the dogs behind, and they left the lights on. And you know who occupies it now?
Los talibanes.
China. So I said, so.
Escucharon lo que dijo. Para los que saben inglés, entienden, los que no. Él dice que Trump fue el que autorizó que los soldados salieran, porque llevan 21 años allí. Pero él, Trump, no hubiera arrancado y ya. No, nos vamos con calma. Vamos llevando los aviones, vamos llevando los tanques. No es que arranques y dejes todo ahí tirado. Ahora están los talibanes en los tanques americanos. Tú sabes, no. Trump dice, sí, yo fui el que firmé para irnos, porque llevamos 21 años aquí que no estamos haciendo nada. Pero el que lo sacó fue Biden. Y eso tenían que sacarlo poco a poco. ¿Y cómo le vas a dejar los armamentos? Eso había que pegarle fuego. Eso tú corta la luz, corta todo y ya. No le dejes el equipo allí. Y si vas a dejar aviones, explótalo. Ponle una bomba y explótalo por lo menos.
Listen, how's it going? I said, sir, just about over, sir. We're going to save a little time, sir. I said, all right, good, call me. So he does his thing. I get a call that ISIS is on the run. The next day I get a call that ISIS is really in bad shape. Next day I get a call that they're surrounded. Next day I speak to somebody and I say, is it really going that well? Sir, it's a miracle. It's not a miracle. It's our military. It's our great military with people that know what the hell they're doing. And they say, sir, we have them now totally surrounded. Most of them are gone, but there's a large group. Just give us the word. Give us the word for what? Don't forget, I had never done this stuff before, you know. I grew up in New York doing real estate deals, really good ones, as you found out. You know, you find out. Even though they want to take as much money as they can away from me. I think we're going to fine him $450 million. Let's give him a fine. You know, you usually get a $500 fine. I get a $500 million fine. These people are sick. It's all part of weaponization, and it can't be allowed to happen. But I said, what are you talking about? We have, sir, a large group, and we're ready to extinguish them. We're ready to send them to hell. I said, we're talking about human beings, General. You know, naively. He's laughing. We're talking about human beings. No, they're not human. Sir, these are animals. These aren't human beings. These are animals. I said, well, maybe if you fly over them with those incredible, thunderous planes, the greatest planes in the world, maybe you'll shake them up a little bit and they'll surrender, sir. They don't know what a white flag is. I remember that statement. They don't know about surrendering, sir. They're horrible, horrible people, but they are brave. They're not going to be surrendering. Well, let's try it. 2 days. Fly over them back and forth, low as hell. Well, we got a couple of bullet holes in our planes, but we'll do it if you want. Just give it a shot. Get a call back 2 days later. Sir, they're not going to surrender. We've been doing it now for 2 days, back and forth, back and forth. Just give me the order, sir. I said, you got the order. Thank you, sir. A day later, I get a call. We have defeated 100% of ISIS. Isn't that a great story? Isn't that a great story? Right, Mike?
Mike Pence.
100% of ISIS. "100% of ISIS is gone." So, doing stories like that, Matt, I won't get the best speaker this year because I went off this stupid teleprompter, but maybe we will. So it was an amazing thing, and I learned so much. I tell that story. But I tell it because you have to know what a great military we have if you let them do their jobs. And I equate it with our police and law enforcement people. We have the greatest law enforcement people in the world, but they're not allowed to do their job. It's the same exact thing. Chicago could be solved in one day. New York could be solved in a half a day. The New York police, I grew up with them. They're the greatest people. Now, a lot of them have left and they've gone down to other states and they've retired. But you have great people. And they can do their job if they're allowed to do their job. But they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to lose everything. When you see these department stores where 300, 400, usually kids walk in there with the masks on and rob the store, destroy the store, millions of dollars. Then the store closes. The whole thing starts to collapse, the city. I could solve that problem in one day, in 1 hour, in 1 minute. When the word got out,
Emma, esto es a hoy, esto es en vivo. Nosotros estamos viéndolo como 1 hora atrasado, pero esto es en vivo, esto es hoy.
And they're walking out, and the police are told, stand down, don't do anything. If the police would be allowed to do their job, and they would do it really strongly, it would end. That whole phenomena would end immediately. It would never happen again. You don't even have to do it in every city. All you have to do is do it in one. That's why I'm giving immunity to police, so that they stop crime, because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to lose their wife, their family, their pension, their house. It would stop immediately. So when I equate the military story and I talk about what they did and how we defeated ISIS, it's the same exact thing for the police. We have the greatest police. They could stop it in Los Angeles. They could stop it in New York. They could stop it in Chicago. They could stop it everywhere. But they're not allowed to do their job. And if they do their job, they lose everything. They lose their pensions, their house. They lose their family. And we're not going to let that happen anymore, because our city's all run by Democrats, radical left Democrats for the most part, but Democrats. It's a cesspool. It's a cesspool. Okay, So as you remember, the president of Mexico sent a representative. Lou. See, they'll say he rambled. He's cognitively impaired. No, it's really the opposite. It's total genius. You know that. It is. It's total genius. These fakers up there, he rambled on endlessly, telling these horrible and very boring stories. No, they're very informative stories. They're very important stories, actually. But no, there's no cognitive problem. If there was, I'd know about it. In fact, if there was, you'll be the first to know, because I will tell you. I will tell you.
Ok, mira esto, Rance. Él estaba contando que la culpa de que en Nueva York, que en todos estos inmigrantes estén dando tanto problema, es del gobierno demócrata. Porque, por ejemplo, él dice que él conoce a los policías de Nueva York, que ellos podrían arrestar a todos los indocumentados que están haciendo crímenes, pero el policía no se atreve a arrestarlos para no perder su trabajo. ¿Me entiendes lo que te quiero decir? Entonces eso es lo que él está criticando. Está diciendo, óyeme, la policía no es mala, pero la policía no se atreve a arrestar a un venezolano que esté robando en una tienda, o cuando entran muchos jóvenes a un mall y todo el mundo se pone a robar, no se atreven a arrestarlo para que no pierdan su trabajo. ¿Por qué? Porque el alcalde es demócrata o el fiscal es demócrata. Entonces lo que hacen es, en vez de arrestar a los criminales, le hacen cargos al policía. Entonces también se está tripeando los de CNN. Parece que al frente de él, arriba, en el segundo piso, está el grupo de demócratas y de CNN. Por eso cada vez que él le dice, mira, y esto, y los hipócritas esto, o esta gente que están metiendo embustes en la prensa, y ellos están allí, y parece que él se los está tripeando. Pero lo que está explicando es la realidad. Es como que, mi gente, la culpa no la tiene la policía, la culpa no la tiene las agencias, la culpa la tiene el que está mandando en el gobierno, ya sea gobernador, ya sea alcalde o presidente. Casi todos son demócratas. Ese es el problema que estamos teniendo ahora. Porque los estados republicanos, eso no pasa. Bueno, en Texas, la frontera está en Texas, pero tú no ves a los indocumentados robando en Texas. Tú los ves robando en Nueva York. Tú los ves robando en Chicago, en California. Pero en Texas no. En Texas entran, porque ahí está la frontera. Pero tú no ves que están haciendo mucho revolú en Texas, papi, porque en Texas ahí todo el mundo está armado. Ahí sí que no está el cuento este. Pero en Nueva York, tú robas y si eres indocumentado te dejan ir. Ahí que está la diferencia.
But so what happens is I'm talking to the gentleman, and he's very confident. And I said, no, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And he thought this was a weird conversation because he kept saying no. I said, no, you're going to do it. 100%. Don't even think about it. No, I said no. But, sir, I said no. How many times do I have to say no? I said, say yes.
Saludito, Zuleika.
I said, I can't do that. I said, here's what I'm doing. It's Friday evening, starting Monday morning at 7 o'clock. Mexico is going to pay a tariff of 25% on all of the cars that you stole from our country, by the way. You know, they stole 32% of our manufacturing cars. The United Auto Workers are going to vote for me, all those people, because that deal they made with China.
Exactamente, Emma, estás diciendo eso mismo.
Everybody has to have an electric car, which doesn't go far. Got a couple of problems. Doesn't go far.
Dímelo, Martín Block.
In cold weather, remember? 4 weeks ago, I won in the largest margin ×2 history in Iowa, and it was 40 degrees below zero on election night. 40 degrees. This was serious cold. If I walked from here to here, let's say that's 5 yards, I was freezing my ass off by the time I got there. This was so cold. You never saw so many electric cars pulled over to the side of the road. You could have had any one of them. I don't know what the hell the people did. I guess they saved them in some way. But no, they don't go far. And these are the people we have making decisions. No, you want to have everything. We want to have choice. Like in school, we want to have choice. And with cars, we want to have choice, right? You know? We want hybrid. So I said, I'm going to sign this document. And at 7 o'clock on Monday morning, everything, including cars. And by the way, Mexico is our #1 trading partner. Who the hell knew that? Can you imagine? Mexico is our biggest trading partner. And you know why? Because I put so many tariffs on China that they really had to pull back. And we saved a lot of businesses. We saved the steel industry because of it. But Mexico is our biggest trading partner. I said, you're going to pay 25% tax or tariff, call it whatever you want. It's similar, but not actually. And you're going to pay it on every single thing that comes in from Mexico into the United States. And like every other country, they rip us off big, big. We don't have any good deals. I changed the South Korea deal. I changed the Japan deal. I could sit down and do nothing but change deals. I said, who the hell negotiated for the United States? And then you wonder why we have a $2 trillion deficit. Now, if you look at it now, it's gotten to a level that nobody can even believe. It's so bad under Biden. But I said, that's what's going to happen. And that's going to be a hell of a lot more than 28,000 soldiers, and I'm okay with it, but I'm ready to sign it. You just tell me when to sign it. Sir, may I, now he's doing this. He was a very confident man just moments before. Now he's grabbing his collar, he's pulling, he can't breathe. Sir, may I call our president, please? Absolutely. Please give him my warmest regards. And I said, will you make it quick? I'm late. I got the Russia hoax to take care of.
De Russia hoax, qué duro.
I got to take care of that hoax, Mike. So make it quick on how much time. Think of what I could have done if I didn't have to go through all that bullshit, right? Think of how good I would have been. So he comes back in 5 minutes and he said, "Sir, I'm pleased to tell you that it would be our great honor to supply you with 28,000 soldiers free of charge. It would be our great honor to adhere to your request for remain in Mexico. Millions of people can stay in our country." Here's a guy. You ever see what happened to Tijuana? It was like people. They had no earth left. It was, you looked at it, I think it was the fastest growing city in history. Tijuana, nice place. But I said, "What about catch and release in Mexico?" "Yes, sir, we'd love to have you release people that you catch, prisoners and murderers." "We think it would be a wonderful thing for our country, sir. We would love it." "Sir, you can do whatever the hell you want." And we got everything. And then this stupid fool, released Mexico of all of these obligations.
Ok, por encimita para contarle. Él está contando cuando él tenía como la negociación ya, como que, mira, él primero le puso unos aranceles, unos impuestos a China. ¿Por qué? Porque China vende cosas tan baratas que estaba haciendo que las compañías americanas se vieran afectadas. Pero después vienen y las cosas las están metiendo por México. Como hacen con la droga y todo eso se hace en China. Pero entonces los chinos se lo venden a los mexicanos y los mexicanos lo entran para Estados Unidos. Anyway, Trump está allí negociando y los tiene, qué sé yo, y había hecho que México tuviera que hacer muchas cosas, como que la pared, usted va, los tipos los vas a soltar en México, no los vas a soltar en Estados Unidos, un montón de cosas. Y viene Joe Biden de lambón y soltó todas las negociaciones que Trump hizo en beneficio de Estados Unidos. John Biden de lambón hizo que México no tuviera que hacer nada de todo lo que Trump los había casi obligado a hacer.
And then last week, for the first time, I can't even believe it, I heard...
Acuérdense que Trump había dicho que México iba a pagar la pared. ¿Me entiende? Iba a inventarse algo, le iban a poner un tax. Usted quiere cruzar de México a Estados Unidos, pues hay un tax. Págate ahora 50 pesos para poder entrar. Con esos 50 pesos pagamos la pared. Algo así venía a hacer Trump.
Mexico saying we're not going to negotiate with the United States unless they give us $10 billion. These are stupid people. How about the hostages? The hostages with Iran, Iraq, but the hostages, we gave Iran $6 billion for 5 people. $6 billion. $6 billion for 5 people. A hiker. You know, a hiker goes over and says, "Oh, look, there's Iran. Let's go hiking." We give them $1 billion to get the hiker out.
A hike.
We gave them $6 billion, and then we gave $10 billion because they supplied some electricity to Iraq. What the hell do we care if they supply it to Iraq? Iraq should have never. Remember, I used to say a long time ago, "Don't go into Iraq. Don't do it." But I was only a civilian, so I didn't get that much press. I said, "Don't go into Iraq, but if you're going to do it, keep the oil." Do you remember? I used to say that all the time. Keep the oil, but don't do it, but keep the oil.
Trump dice que antes de, obviamente, 20 años atrás, antes de ser presidente, él siempre les decía, mira, no invadan Afganistán, deja esa gente allá. Pero si va, quédate con el petróleo. Pero no los invadas, no te metas. Pero si va, te quedas con el petróleo. Y eso es lo que está contando. Parece que soltaron el petróleo.
Now has $300 billion. Iran has $224 billion. And Iran controls 100% Iraq. So for years...
Mira, dímelo, charlatán, Tito, está pasando.
They were the same. For years and years, under different names. But religious thing. But they would fight each other for years. And they were the two powers. And they were checkmating each other. So they'd fight and fight and fight 4 or 5 years. They'd throw a little gas. They'd throw another one, and then all of a sudden they'd say, and they'd go back, and the border basically.
No, él no está leyendo porque él está haciendo chiste. Primero que él dijo que no tiene teleprompter. Segundo dijo, lo ha dicho como 3 o 4 veces. Él se da guille de que él no necesita teleprompter. Eso es lo que está hablando ahí. Y muchacha, ese monólogo, llevamos 1 hora y 45 minutos. Si a él le están diciendo eso por el oído Ese tipo es un genio. Y el que le está diciendo las cosas por el oído más, porque no se ha equivocado.
This has been going on for centuries. And then we come along and we blow up one of the sides. We blow up Iraq.
No, pero yo pienso, Ivonne, que él practicó. ¿Me entiendes? Esto es un profesional, esto es un ejecutivo que está acostumbrado a ir a las reuniones. Yo les hablo claro. Yo practico para aquí. Antes de prender los podcasts, yo caliento la laringe, bla, 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 bla. Hago mis técnicas vocales, repaso los puntos. Ok, tan, 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 tan. Pum, 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 pum. Y arranco. Obviamente improviso. Pero si yo lo hago, que estoy en mi casa con una cámara, imagínate él. Tiene que ir a hablar con las Naciones Unidas o ir allá ahora mismo. Una palabra maldicha le puede costar la presidencia. Y el tipo está ahí contando historias de cuando estaba en Afganistán, que si el avión, que si aquello, ¿sabes? El tipo está demasiado duro, 77 años, y está más lúcido que muchos de nosotros. No, muchachos.
Now Iran is taken over.
Let's go,
Iraq.
Brandon.
So Iran, they might as well change the name. So Iran has their 200 and some odd $billion that they all made in 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I told China, and I told all of the countries, France, everybody. I said, listen, if you buy 1 barrel of oil from Iran, we're not going to do any business. We're going cold turkey.
Bueno, mi nombre es Carlos, pero me dicen hebreo. Ese es como que mi apodo en la música, y así que todos mis amigos me dicen hebreo.
Which wouldn't have been a bad thing anyway. We're going cold turkey. You're not going to do it. And we're going to put a 100% tariff on anything that gets through. And President Xi, I told him this. He said, all right, well, we won't do it. We won't do it. They didn't buy. By the way, they're buying billions and billions of dollars worth of oil right now. But China didn't buy. Nobody bought. Iran was broke. And they had no money for Hamas. And they had no money for Hezbollah. They had no money for anything. They were down to almost nothing. And there were a lot of stories that Iran was unable, and all these terror groups were angry at Iran because they weren't paying them. And the terror groups were all breaking up. If I were president, Israel would have never been attacked. Would have never been attacked. As soon as I was forced out with a rigged election, and we can never let that happen again. Don't let it happen again. Don't let it happen again. As soon as I was forced out with this rigged election, Biden took the sanctions off. Iran went back to levels that they've never seen before, more than they've ever done. And now they're rich as hell. They're selling oil to everybody. They're making so much money they don't know what to do. They're a very rich nation. With me, they were broke. They were broke. I remember a Democrat congressman on Deface the Nation a couple of weeks. I think it was Deface the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Donald Trump on Deface the Nation. It is Deface the Nation because their news is so fake. But he was saying that, well, whether you like Trump or not, he did break Iran. They were broke. They had no money. I said, that's nice of him. He probably, lost his chairmanship or whatever he was. But we did a great job. We did a great job. So what happened is Mexico agreed to all of these things. We took the money out of the military. We built the wall. We had the safest border in the history of our country. The history of our country. And it was very interesting because we built the wall, but a lot of people were coming up at the beginning. Once they saw that I meant business, once they heard some of these stories that I'm telling you right now, they didn't come. They weren't coming. The caravans were much smaller. The people trying to get in was a much easier situation to handle. When you have an idiot like Gavin Newsom saying, if you come up, we're going to give you pension funds, you're going to have pensions, we'll give you a mansion. Do you ever see the things that he's promising? Free health care, free education. Who the hell wouldn't? I may move there myself, actually. No, but people all over the world are hearing this, that California, look, a lot of people think Gavin Newsom is going to run. In a certain way, I hope so. I hope so. because he's destroyed California. He's destroyed it. But he's got a hell of a line of crap. I watched him on Sean Hannity, who's a good man, Sean. Sean, we love you very much, Sean, if you happen to be watching, which you will. But he was on Sean Hannity, and he was saying, no, California's never done better, we got to do this, we're doing that. I'm saying, wait a minute, the place is failing. They don't have water. They're notifying people in Beverly Hills you can only use 40 gallons of water. They don't have water. By the way, they could have so much water. I had it all set. All of the federal government approvals were done. All he had to do was sign a little piece of paper. And I won't let him get away with that again, because he had to sign one piece of paper, and water would be pouring down from up north, pouring down from Canada. And it comes down the artificial veins and the natural veins where the water poured down. They take this water and they send it out to the Pacific, way above California. They send the water out to the Pacific to protect a little tiny fish that's not doing too well anyway. And people don't have water, and the farmland is barren. You go down, it's best land there is in the whole country. They can't farm it because they have no water.
Mira, así como esto
And
era.
it's true. In Beverly Hills, you pay a fortune in taxes. They say you can only brush your teeth once a day. Who the hell wants to mean you can't use too much water on your hair? That would put me out. I would not want to be. They put restrictors on showers. They put restrictors on faucets. You buy brand new faucets. Aren't they beautiful, darling? Oh, yes, look at them. Beautiful brass faucets. They're so beautiful. Let's try them. Oh, shit, no water's coming out. Drop. It drops out. You turn on the shower. I'm going to take a shower tonight. My hair's going to look better than it ever looked. I get that whole deal ready. I'm all set to go. Turn on the shower. Ding. Ding. No. And they have so much water. I said to some of our great congressmen that asked me to help them with a problem up in that area, up north in California, I said, I see you have a drought. They said, no, we don't have a drought. We have so much water, you don't know what to do. But they send it out to the Pacific. We're not going to let them get away with that any longer. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And frankly, I believe, I gave a speech up there. We had like 100,000 people show up. I said, what the hell is going on over here? I always hear Republicans can't win. California, you can't win. I will tell you, if God came down and God was the vote checker, I believe we would win California. I think it's so crazy. They send out 36 million ballots, get sent out to people unknown. They're sent out all over the place. How many people from California know people that got 6, 7, 8 ballots, okay? Our elections are so corrupt. I think we'd do very well. I think I would do very well in California, actually. And I think I would do well in a lot of places because it's common sense. Remember, not conservative.
Yo digo que el problema con Trump es el siguiente, porque yo tengo amigos míos, que yo le hago preguntas y digo, mira, pero esto lo hizo Trump, pero gracias a esto lo hizo Trump, y todo le gusta, pero no le gusta cómo habla. Y yo, ay, bendito. O sea, que tú prefieres tener un ladrón, un pillo, un abusador, pero que te hable bonito. Yo no, yo prefiero tener un tipo serio que hable como dé la gana, pero que sus acciones nos beneficien. A mí no me importa, los sentimientos son una changuería. Queremos actos. Yo no escucho las palabras de las personas, yo escucho lo que hacen. Ah, tú me puedes decir que tú vas a la luna. Cuando yo vea el cohete subiendo, te creo. De ahí para allá, palabras son palabras. No hay mucho que inventar ahí.
It's common sense. I'm conservative, but the words are common sense. Our country is run by people that are destroying it. We're not going to let it happen again. We're going to have a great military. We're going to have a great, everything in our country is going to function properly again. It's going to function well. We're going to be respected all over the world. We're going to be respected like we've never been respected before.
Yeah.
And it won't take long. It's like Orban said, I'm hungry. Put Trump back in, and the whole world is going to be fixed.
Óyeme, pero Emma Flow, Nacho, si el Trump tiene más seguridad que Biden, acuérdate que Trump tiene la seguridad de él, más la seguridad por ser expresidente. Él sigue el servicio secreto, está con él para arriba y para abajo. Eso es por toda la vida.
that very strongly. Put Trump back in. What do you do? They said, what do you do, sir? What do you do? The world is blowing up. He said, it's a very simple solution. Put President Trump back in office. It will all be healed very, very quickly. So I want to apologize for literally not repeating this beautiful speech. But I thought some of these stories are instructive because they tell you our military is great. They tell you our law enforcement is great. They tell you our president is incompetent. They tell you a lot of things, some of which you knew and some of which you didn't know. So now I'm going to the place I'm supposed to be. I'm going to South Carolina. I'm supposed to be there. And if I do poorly, I'm going to blame Mercedes. Forget about Matt. I'm going to blame Mercedes. Because I am supposed to be there and I'm not there. And if I do poorly, I'm blaming everybody in this audience. But I think we're going to do okay. And I just want to thank everybody. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you from a beautiful place called South Carolina, go out and vote right now, please. Get in those cars and drive fast. I'm going to leave you with this one final message. We're going to win the election. We're going to win it big. We're going to win it bigger than ever before. We're going to do things that nobody believed. It's going to be more important even than 2016. We are going to make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Óyeme, recuerda, haz el bien y no mires a quién, mi gente. Viene Javier Milei para ahí también. Viene Javier Milei. Voy a hacer unas cositas, voy a comerme algo y en 15 o 20 minutos regresamos otra vez, porque ahí habló Bukele, habló Trump. Míralo bailando. ¡Ay! Oye, ve a hacer bien y no mires a quién. Nos vemos ya mismo cuando Javier Milei entre, nos conectamos otra vez. Mi gente, gracias por el apoyo y recuerda que la verdad nos hará libres.
Gracias por sintonizar a Le Cine de Podcast. Suscríbete, comenta y riega la voz. Le Cine de Podcast.